Hey, today we'll be giving you an in-depth explanation about dot point 4.1 in the Blueprint of Life. Explain a modern example of natural selection. So first, what is natural selection? Natural selection is the process by which organisms that are better adapted to their environment will tend to survive and produce more offspring than those who aren't. This is due to variation in the species DNA, which allows more advantageous traits to survive, while the unfavorable characteristics are bred out. Today, natural selection is accepted as the reason for evolution. This theory was discovered in 1838 by the man in this photo, Charles Darwin, which he explained in his book The Origin of Species. A great example of natural selection in the modern world is the malaria-causing protozoan Plasmodium. This parasite is transmitted via the female Anopheles mosquito, which bites the victim, allowing the parasite to enter the blood, consuming red blood cells and resulting in brain damage, organ failure, and ultimately death. It is most commonly seen in Central Africa, particularly in children. There are 5 forms of Plasmodium which cause malaria: P. malariae, P. ovale, P. vivax, P. knowlesi, and P. falciparum. P. falciparum is the most common, as well as the deadliest strain out of the 5. To the left is an image of the malaria distribution worldwide. There has been a constant war over many years to eradicate malaria. Each attempt to destroy the mosquitoes or cure the disease has resulted in natural selection taking malaria's side and overcoming it, the parasite coming out stronger than ever each time. This is due to the DNA of the parasite being far more complex than most viruses. The average virus has 10 to 15 genes, whereas Plasmodium is made up of over 5,000. The first attempt to destroy it was with the use of DDT in World War II. Ronald Ross had discovered in 1897 that Anopheles mosquitoes were the vectors of the disease, and so DDT, a toxic insecticide, was introduced to eradicate all of the mosquitoes. This was initially successful, however a small percentage of the population had mutated genes in their DNA, allowing them to be immune to DDT and survive it, so they could reproduce and take over the population of the mosquitoes. Soon, DDT was useless against them, and so its use was abandoned, especially because it was found to have a negative effect on human health. Another method of eliminating malaria came from the development of antimalarial drugs, such as chloroquine and proguanil. Chloroquine was the first of this line of antimalarial drugs, discovered in the 1930s and used worldwide for many years. However, after only 10 years of using the drug, immunities began to develop in Colombia and Thailand independently, and soon after this it began to occur in other countries too. After chloroquine came a string of other antimalarials, each one quickly becoming useless due to the Plasmodium's ability to rapidly adapt. Today, new antimalarials can work for a year or more before the parasite develops an immunity. As some antimalarials are successful against only some strains of the parasite, different drugs can be used in combination as a preventative measure as well as to shorten the length of treatment. To the right is an image of a blood smear containing healthy red blood cells and the Plasmodium parasite. Artemisinin is derived from the naturally occurring plant wormwood. Its medicinal use in China can be dated back to as early as 168 BC. However, the recipe was lost until 1970 when it was recovered from an archaeological dig. What makes this drug different from the many antimalarial drugs is that it attacks the parasite by releasing large amounts of free radicals to attack its cell membrane in the presence of a large concentration of iron. This makes it quite easy as it occurs in the iron-rich environment, that is blood. Another main difference is that artemisinin comes from a naturally occurring plant, and it also has a completely different structure to the synthetic antimalarial drugs. Unfortunately, there are already several countries where artemisinin is ineffective. To the left is an image of the wormwood plant that artemisinin is derived from. So to wrap up, this video explained what natural selection is, using the malaria-causing parasitic Plasmodium protozoan as a modern example. We discussed how the population survived DDT, antimalarial drugs, and artemisinin, each time due to variations within the species in their genes, allowing for a small amount to survive the attack with their advantageous mutation and rebuild the population with this beneficial trait. Here are the sources used for this project. Thank you for watching.